Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you had a good Christmas and Happy New Year. Just wanted to do a quick update video. Videos haven't been coming as fast as I would like to make them. So I thought I'd do an end of year video, a bit of a review of the year, what's worked well this year, what hasn't worked well. That's quite a long list. Some projects I've done and also some things that I'd like to work on next year, plans for next year. It's the 30th of December today, 2023, and it's been mild for a few weeks. So mild, it's apple tree climbing weather. And it hasn't, just noticed there's a fence panel missing. It's annoying. It's been very windy. It's been mild but windy. There's always a trade-off, isn't there? It's mild and wet, or windy, or it's dry but very cold, unfortunately. So here it's been very mild last probably month, but very windy and wet as well. It's done nothing but rain for quite a while. The ground is very boggy, and it's only stopped raining a few minutes ago. I thought this is my chance to get out there. So first thing to talk about, I suppose, is the very start of the year when we saw the damage. The damage became evident of the cold from the very end of 2022. December 22, we had a really cold spell. It was below zero here for about a week, and all the cordylines, another one there, another one behind this bamboo, quite decent sized cordylines. That's probably 3 meters, that one, and this one in the raised bed, all set back, unfortunately, and that's the first time they've been affected by the winter, well, since I've been here, which is coming up for 10 years. Thankfully, they've all grown back to varying amounts. This one has grown, I don't know, about 20 offshoots, nothing up the trunk at all. In fact, you can just pull this off, this bark. I did wonder whether I could just snap this entire trunk, but no, that's not going to work. Let's try it on this one. It's been effectively dead, the top growth, for a year now. You can see it's just mush. I did try and saw through them, but they're I didn't quite have the right tool anyway. You can see how sort of how bad that trunk is. Wasn't just the cordylines. Shamus Humilis also took a battering. So this is my, still is my biggest one probably. The central growth has ended, but a lot of the pups which were already here have survived. Not all of them. Look, this one survived. Yeah, this one didn't. Although there is something going on there. So a bit strange, that one. I'm not quite sure why that didn't. Why it's so variable. Another bigger Shamrops, actually, it's not my biggest, I'll tell a lie, that's not my biggest. There's a big one on the front which was untouched, but that is in a stronger location. It's gets sun for a start, and it's also in a raised bed, so it's well drained, but it's in front of the house, so it's a bit to the south of the house, it's a bit more sheltered. And also the worst loss that I've had, I expect everyone had something that really upset them. Mine was a lovely Bootier Odorata. There's a decent trunk on that. That's quite a big pot it's in. But it's gone. I mean, it strangely hasn't spear pulled, but there's nothing there at all in terms of fresh growth. I cut this up here middle of last summer, and it's not pushed out at all, so it's a real shame. I'm not ready to give up on it yet, so that's why it's in the greenhouse. But I'm not very hopeful at all that that's going to make it. I'll probably give it the full year of 2024 to recover, and then I'll have a difficult decision to make. So that's the bad news, but it's not all bad news. I have to really have a think now, see if there's any good news. Oh yes, this Wamy Pine has continued to romp away. It's really going skywards now. I was actually thinking about digging it up and moving it. I was wondering whether that's the right location in the raised bed, but it absolutely loves it there. It's probably growing 3 foot per year now. Don't know if you can see, I'll try and zoom in a little bit, how there's another leader heading up. So there's the main leader, which is way up at the top there, but there's also there a sort of second trunk forming, which isn't the look I'm going for, but that's so high up that actually I'm not sure I can do anything about it anymore. Previously I've been cutting them off, but I might just have to let that one go. I'll probably have a get up there in the spring and see if I can reach it. And the second thing is this little chap, not the boy, but the Trachycarpus fortuni. That's really sort of noticeably got bigger this year, and you know, people are often surprised at how fast things grow without them noticing, but this one, even I who look at it every day have sort of noticed that it's really bulked up in size this year. So that's going really well, really pleased with it. It keeps sending out flower, or sort of it tries to flower but always aborts, so I'm hoping that it will send out a genuine flower this year, because they do look quite nice, I believe. But that's it. I think that's as far as the good news extends, unfortunately. And in terms of projects that I completed this year, it's all been one big project really. Starting here on the path, we laid 216 of these tiles, 60 by 60 centimetre tiles. Myself and my dad did all the work, from digging taking up the old slabs for a start. They need a power wash look already. Preparing the ground, building these little walls, filling the walls with sub base, compacting it, mixing countless loads of concrete. The path goes all the way down to the front of the house as well, where it meets the drive. Still a bit of finishing to be done. We need to put the grout in here, and we still need to do the step here, and we need to fill concrete around this manhole cover. Really pleased with it. Wanted to keep it. Before we had a few different levels, now we've just got the one step. Everything else is on a single level, even if it means having a slope. Again, there's some steps here before, so really pleased with that. Obviously it looks a mess at the minute, but once we've power washed that and cleaned it all up, finished it off, it will look really good in spring.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings, sweet dreams to you and your king. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And a Happy New Year.
So things I never got round to doing and therefore planned for next year. 2024 plans involve obviously finishing the patio, as I mentioned. I never got around to painting the decking. I'll do that every single year. The stain or the product I use says it lasts several years, but never does, particularly the top edges. And we replaced a couple of boards, so they definitely need doing. But the raised beds look a bit grotty now, but they do look brilliant after a lick of paint. So that'll be an early job for spring. Let's have a look. So the apple tree has the best location in the garden. That's the north end of the garden, so it's got a good clear run heading south. That direction is south. Really is a good location. It's got a big hedge behind it. And in an exotic garden, does an apple really fit in? Apple tree? Not sure it does. We do enjoy the crop of apples on it every August and September. But I'm going to heavily prune that in the coming weeks. Today I purchased a pole saw, which I'm going to use to do that. So it's going to stay there. It's still going to be in the best position, but I am going to make it much smaller and more compact. That will mean that the blossom this year will be much reduced because it's the new growth that blossoms, and therefore the amount of apples will be much less this year as well. But we always have 50, maybe even 75% too many apples. They just fall and get wasted. So I shall do that this year and again in the next few weeks. That's planned. I also want to take this hedge down a little bit. Behind the hedge are some more houses, but behind them is some hills, which we used to be able to see. You can sort of see from the hedge where it's a bit thin. Maybe the top third of the hedge is relatively new growth. So I'm going to take maybe 2 foot off that to begin with, using the pole saw again, get it quite level, and take it from there. I kind of like the idea of growing a big hedge and creating shelter, because that way is north. It's blocking any northerly winds along with the house. But it's a real pain to cut. It's too high to maintain a neat finish on it. So I'm gonna take it down a bit. Hopefully we get a view back of the hills as well from the house at least. Over here, this is the bottom end of the garden where all the rubbish is kept. The trampoline cover's blown off because it's been so windy. Got some old bulk bags that from all the sand that we've had in. But one job I never got around to again is the compost bin. So I've been filling it, no problem there, and it is crawling with insects, and there's a worm on top there, so it's working, but I haven't emptied it. What I'd like to do, almost fell over there, that would have been good, and again, it's quite needs a bit of work, this area, to make it a bit safer, I think. But I'd like to empty the whole bin and refill it with anything that isn't ready to be used as compost, and that process will help the remaining matter compost as well. The only other thing I can think of, actually there's 2 things, is when we do finish the patio, I'm gonna get a load of wood chip in, because this area, I would chip it every year, but actually this year I left it until we finished the patio, which we never did. But you can see we need a few inches in here to hide the foundations for the wall, the anchor points of the climbing frame, particularly this one. Needs probably 3 or 4 inches there. So we're going to get a load of that in. If I get too much, which I never seem to do, then I'll put some in the beds. That'd be nice. Yeah. The other thing I was going to mention then was something I did this year as well. More recently, they used to be regular viewers to the channel probably thinking that looks a bit sparse there. What's missing? Something used to be there. There was a 9-foot Christmas tree, Norway spruce, which doesn't make a great Christmas tree, I don't think, because they drop their needles. You know, they're fine if you put your tree up, you know, early, mid-December, but we like to have ours up at the beginning of December, and this Nordman fir holds onto its needles much better. So we bought that locally from a farm, and I sold this one on eBay. Not on eBay, on Facebook actually, Facebook Marketplace. So I got 20 quid for it. I was going to chop it down anyway, so I was really pleased with that. And I've now created a gap where I can plant something. So even better news really. So that'll be something to think about, and obviously I will be planting something there in 2024 as well.
I have a tree.
Okay, we just got a quick trick to show you.
Oh, I think I did it on my first try, but this could work or could not. It was meant to land on this one.
So the first time you did that, it landed correctly, did it?
Okay, but where?
Oh, I didn't quite capture that. Shame I didn't capture that one on video, isn't it? You keep practicing then, okay? And I'll end the video. Okay, just in case it does happen again, I am filming with some action in the background. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I do wish you a good 2024, and hope it's a good gardening year. And yeah, thanks for watching, if indeed you still are.